chase my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for me. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
I turned off the lights, I got off the wires. When I close my eyes, disconnected and tired. I see you, yeah. And I know you keep asking me, flames and fire. I know you are done with me. It's just fired. It's just fired. I was wrong, but I made it right. You came begging day and night. I don't wanna hit the bottom. Don't go out of your state of mind. I've been counting 1 to 10. I'll be back when you be down. With my music together again. I see. Yeah, I see you go down. Yeah, I see you go down. I see. Yeah, I see you go down. Yeah, I see you go down. And I know you keep asking me, flames and shots fired.
I see you go down, yeah, I see you go down. I see you go down, yeah, I see you.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thanks for tuning in. So as you can tell, I decided to do this video a little bit differently than I normally do. Let you guys watch the whole project and then do the talking at the end. I figured it'd be kind of fun, see how you guys like it. I think some projects I can't do that kind of stuff with, but something like this, I figured I'd give it a shot and just let you guys enjoy the footage of me working. I'm sure by now you can tell, or at least by the title of the video, you can tell what the project was this last week and a half to 2 weeks. That was building this solid welding table. If you guys have been around for quite a long time, you'll know that I've been working on one of those little fold-up picnic tables for all my major projects I'm working on a table for. And it worked, did the job just fine, but I figured before I went through and started really building and fabricating the whole bumper for my truck, I wanted a nice solid steel workbench that I could do cutting on, that I could mount a vise to, just have a nice solid workbench. And so that's what this project was. I'm going to start off by saying that by no means am I a fabricator. This thing is far from perfect, but I think it should do the job really well. I kind of had an initial design in my head of what I wanted it to be like. The only real change was initially I thought I was going to be doing square tubing for the legs instead of the angle iron that I used. But I think these will be plenty solid. The reason I kind of differed it up a little bit is I went to the local steel supplier, and they have a large scrap yard on the backside of their property, and the stuff over there is quite a bit cheaper than what you would pay for buying brand new steel. And so I went out there, saw what they had available, and kind of just went from there. So I was going to have the table exactly 6x3 using square tubing for the legs or square stock for the legs, and I was going to use angle iron for the skirting of the table anyways. But when I got out there, they had this sheet of 1/4 inch, which I would have preferred to do it probably 3/8 inch maybe. 1/4 inch was the smallest I wanted, but they had this sheet of 1/4 inch that was just over 6 foot, just over 3 foot, and I was like, yeah, that'll do. Make it work. And then they didn't have any good square tubing to use for the legs. The stuff they had was just way too beefy. I mean, the stuff they had available, I could have held up a house with. I opted not to do that, and I just went up with the 3/8 inch square stock 4x4, or not square stock, angle iron, 4x4 angle iron, 3/8 of an inch. Should be plenty stout. I'm sure I'll get a number of comments that I need to have some sort of cross bracing on this, and I don't disagree. To be completely honest, I think it's going to be pretty darn stable as it is now. So as you can kind of see here, although it's not huge, there is a decent amount of cross bracing per se with the skirts. This is a 3 inch or 3.5 inch angle iron, welded all the way up on both sides. So I think that'll add some pretty good rigidity to it. Obviously, it's welded all the way along the perimeter on the inside as well. So though it's not perfect, I think that'll add a pretty good amount of rigidity to it. I don't think I'll have any issues with it buckling or bending in the end. That being said, down the road, at some point I would like to add storage underneath this table. And when I do that, that's going to be adding structure underneath. And that's kind of why I held off on doing it now, because I really didn't know how I wanted to format all that stuff underneath. And so I figured this would be good enough for now, and down the road I can keep adding on to it. If it seems too flimsy, all I have to do is weld on some braces. So I'm not too worried about it. I think it'll be just fine. I'm not doing anything crazy with this, so it should be all right. Overall, I think it turned out pretty good. This is my first major welding project, and there were some welds that were absolutely horrible. I don't know what happened. They were super porous. I don't know if the wire feed was too slow on those certain ones, because it was literally like I did one that turned out really good, and then the very next bead right next to it turned out horrible. And I have no idea what caused it. But overall, for the most part, they really weren't that bad. Not show quality welds by any means, but they will get the job done nonetheless. I was going to try to have it back on its feet for the final part of this video, but I got to get the video up for you guys tomorrow. Today is Halloween, and all my help to get this thing flipped over is not available. And this thing weighs over 400 pounds, 400 to 450 pounds, give or take. So I think all the steel I got was 490 pounds, and I ended up cutting some length off the legs and a little bit off the skirt. So we're probably pushing pretty close to 450 pounds right now. The top plate alone was, I think, close to 200 pounds. So that being said, I need some help getting this thing flipped over, and currently I don't have that available to me. So finishing up this video with it upside down, showing you guys what it's at. So let me take you guys off the tripod, give you guys just a quick look at it, and then we'll wrap up the video. Alrighty, so here we go. Another thing I should apologize for is all the harsh lighting throughout this video. As you guys know, I don't have a nice fancy shop to work in, working in the garage, and with direct sunlight on the edge, pretty hard to see. And then of course when it gets dark, I don't have great lighting in here, and so I know the lighting wasn't fantastic in this video, but you got to work with what I have. So here you guys go. Here's a quick look at it. Pretty simple all in all. As you can see, got the 4x4 angle iron here on the legs, inside of the table, I used this 3x3 or 3.5 skirt or angle iron to make the skirt, and added one center brace because I had enough for it. If I need to down the road, I can add some more in, but to be completely honest, I don't think I'll really need to. As you can tell, or as you can see, I welded all the way along inside the perimeter of those. Not full length welds. I figured that was overkill. Just even this is probably overkill. I just gave it some good little strips or beads every so often. Yeah, overall, I think I'm pretty darn happy with how it turned out. Let me show you guys what I did with the casters. I'm hoping if there's any weak spot on this table, it's going to be this. And I already have an idea if it fails what to do, but we'll see. I think it'll hold up, but if there is a spot that fails, it's going to be these. Hey, I'll show you the one on the opposite side. All right, so what you see there is I got 1-inch bolts and cut out little plates to mount the casters onto, and then welded that 1-inch bolt onto the plate. And then as you saw, I put that right there, the bottom nut, welded that to the leg itself, and then have that nut in the middle so that if I ever need to adjust it, I can lock them down into place and they won't move. Originally, I was just going to mount the plate straight to the leg and then bolt the caster on. But then I was thinking that if I ever ended up on uneven floor, maybe a shop floor is poor to be able to drain, I wanted to be able to level up the bench a little better, as opposed to just having them fixed. And of course, down the road, if I ever wanted to just mount the caster straight to the legs, then I could do that. But that's what I ended up doing there. I didn't think of this idea. I got this idea online from watching some other YouTube videos. I liked it. I did consider boxing in the bottom nut that I welded onto the leg, give it a little more rigidity. Maybe I will down the road. I don't know. We'll see how it holds up. If it seems to flex or break, we'll find out. You guys will be the first to know. I won't hide it from you guys. But pretty simple design all around. So overall, I think this project went fairly smoothly for the first time doing a welding project. I think this workbench will probably serve me well for a very, very, very long time. Happy with how it turned out. Overall, I think, let me try to think of how much I have into this for you guys that are curious. I think the casters were around $40. I don't remember off the top of my head. Maybe I'll look it up and put it on the screen. But I think they're around $40. They should be rated to 1,800 pounds between all four of them, so it should be plenty. If they fail, then I'll let you guys know that too. But so far, they seem pretty sturdy. No complaints on them right now. I'll link those down below if you guys want to check them out. And then as far as the cost of the steel goes, it was 40 cents a pound, which to some people, they may say that's really cheap. Some people may say that's really expensive. It used to be a lot cheaper, but it is what it is. That's what it's at right now, 40 cents a pound. So I think I was at $190 in steel. And of course, I didn't use all of it, but I paid for it. So I'll just include that in the price. If you're getting exact cut steel, maybe you can shave a little bit off of that. But I paid $190 for 490 pounds. I think that's how the math worked out. And then that was basically it. That's all I had into the materials of building this bench. Now, I did pick up a vise that's on the table behind me. I think in the next video, once I get this all cleaned up, flipped over, I think next video will be going over mounting the vise. The vise was a little of a decision point for me. I really wanted to get like a nice high quality Wilton bullet vise or something like that, but I really didn't want to spend $500 or $600 on a vise right now. And so what I did is I got I think it was right around $100 for a large 5.5-inch jaw vise that had really good reviews. I figured there's a lot of people out there like me that want to do stuff like this, but they don't want to break the bank to make it happen. So I figured I would try out this vise for you guys, give you guys my honest opinion on it. I can tell you the vise weighs just under 40 pounds, so it's a hunk of steel. I think it'll be pretty solid. I haven't even taken it out of the box yet. We're going to find out. I don't even remember what brand it was. It's just a high-rated vise on Amazon that was affordable. So figured I would try it out for you guys. We should be mounting that up in the next video. Another saw or another tool that I bought was that Milwaukee Circular Saw that you guys saw me using. And I can do a more in-depth review if you guys want it, but my very initial impressions after doing a fair amount of cutting on this table was that it is an absolute beast. It handled the 3/8 inch steel, no problem, totally fine, hardly slowed it down. Obviously, you're not just going to be just cramming it through the steel. You got to be smart, but I was blown away at how well it cut the steel. Now, that being said, if I were to buy a saw again, I wouldn't buy that one. Two reasons. One is the chip collection. When I bought this one, I thought it had chip collection, and it didn't. And so it made a big mess every single time I was cutting, which isn't the end of the world. It's just kind of a pain. Milwaukee's next saw up, it has a full chip collection system on it, and it looks like it makes a huge difference on how much chips it picks up and keeps from spraying all over your workplace. So if I were to do it again, I would probably buy that next step up for that reason, as well as the reason you guys probably saw it in some of the video was the depth of cut on this saw just was barely not enough to cut through some of this steel. And more so, not the plates or anything, I had plenty of that, but something like the 4-inch angle, it just didn't have quite enough to get that full 4-inch cut. And so I ended up having to rotate and get it down. And that's another thing the bigger saw from Milwaukee would have solved. And so kind of eat my own words here. I always say it. Buy the nice tool first. And this thing is nice. This thing is an animal. It's going to serve me for a long time. I'm going to use it full time on cutting the steel for the bumper. That's all just plate steel cutting straight through it. I'm not worried about it. I'm not really disappointed in it. But I do kind of wish I upgraded to the $300 or $350 one. This one was like, I don't know, $150-ish maybe. So, I mean, it's a significant difference. Another thing, I'm trying not to break the bank here, especially after buying the welder. Kind of trying to be a little more cost efficient here and not just splurge. But yeah, if I were to do it all again, if you guys are looking for a metal saw, that little Milwaukee saw, I'll link it below, is an absolute animal. It eats through steel, no problem. But it does make a little bit of a mess, and it doesn't have a super deep depth of cut. Granted, it's like a 3.5-inch depth of cut. I don't know, I'd have to measure it. It was solid. You could cut through a lot of steel with it. It just happened to be on some of those like weird angled cuts, or if you're cutting through a large square stock or something, you're going to have to rotate it, which isn't the end of the world. You just got to be aware of it. Even the bigger saw is going to have its limitations. But as far as power and cutting ability goes, no issues whatsoever at all. Yeah, I can see I'm rambling on for quite a while now. So this video is probably getting pretty long. Let me know what you guys think about this. I'm really torn. I need your guys' opinion on this. I was going to paint the legs and everything and the skirt on the bottom side of the table. I actually was going to do like tractor orange. I can't remember what brand it was. I think it was maybe Case. No, let me just find out. It was, I'm going to butcher this pronouncement. It was basically Alice Orange. Same as the Alice tractors. I just kind of thought it'd be cool. It'd kind of pop out and look kind of cool. But now that I've got it all like this, I'm debating just cleaning up the steel and putting a nice oil coat over it and just letting it be its raw finish. I'm definitely not going to be cutting the top or painting the top part of the table. For sure, and probably won't be painting this outer clamping surface either. But let me know what you guys think. Should I paint these? Black would obviously be the go-to that most people go to. I thought doing something brighter would be kind of fun, but I haven't decided yet. Let me know what you guys think. With that, I think I'm going to wrap up this video. It's plenty long. Like I said, next video I'll be doing a review and install on that vise that I got. I'm interested to see how good of quality it is. It seems, based on the reviews and the weight of it, should be a really solid vise for an awesome price. So we're going to check that out. Halloween night. Hopefully you guys had a safe night by the time you guys are watching this. As always, if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down below. If you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. All that stuff is super, super helpful in YouTube sharing the content. The more you guys interact, the more YouTube shares it. So everything you guys do, I really appreciate it. We're still on track to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button. Catch you guys on the next video.